All right, so I have shown this to you before. So if you look at
Oh, I like this.
this pyramid, basically how most people try to build their business online, and you see them all the time. The top 3%, these are the people that are going to get in we'll use my econ as an example. They're the people that are going to get in business with you because they already know you, they like you, they trust you. So if you went to someone and said, hey, get in my econ, they're going to say, okay, let's just do it. They're not going to have a lot of pushback. But that's how most people build their business. They treat a stranger like they should already know, like, and trust them. So that's where the 7% comes from, or the
Okay.
3%. 7%, they know of you and your solution, and because of that, they're going to listen to what you have to say.
Okay.
Now, the bottom 30%, this is where the bottom 60%, that's where most people spend most of their time. They talk to people that don't know they have a problem. They don't care about the solution. That would be if we're talking about the meat eater, steak, or let's keep it my econ. Someone that is not interested in fixing their credit. They don't know about your solution. They don't care. They don't care where their credit is. But people will try to convince them to get their credit repaired. If it's a fitness business, oh, well, you need to take this supplement. You need to get your health and fitness in order. And they just like, no, I like pizza. I like soda. I don't care. I want to keep doing it.
That makes sense.
And then the level up, these are people that they know that they have a problem, but you need to convince them of the answer. That would be the people that are asking, well, my econ was bankrupt, or the company, this person was bankrupt 16 years ago. And keep in mind that there's different types of bankruptcies. Donald Trump has declared bankruptcy many times in his companies because it allows him to restructure his company a certain way to make it better and stronger. Bankruptcy isn't necessarily a bad thing depending on the type.
Okay.
Right, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's different types of bankruptcy. So that's the other thing. When someone asks, I learned this from. So I'll take off stop share. I learned this from a Christian apologist. When an atheist or someone asks him a question, or they make a statement, one thing you can ask them is, what do you mean by that? Have them explain what they mean. I think a lot of times people will say something and they automatically assume they know what they're talking about. I never assume anything when someone tells me or asks me a question. I'll ask them, what do you mean by that? Or I'll try to repeat back to them, is this what you mean? That way there's no miscommunication on where we're at with anything. Because remember, I hate to be wrong. So I don't want to make an assumption about someone and then later on they're like, well, no, that's not what I meant. Or that's not what I meant. Or that's what I didn't mean to say it that way. And then you can say, how did you come to that conclusion? Now, me, I'm very analytical. I kind of want to know, how did you come to that conclusion based on the evidence that you are, like with your person with bankruptcy. What do you mean by they declare bankruptcy? Like they personally bankrupted themselves, or they were in another business and they declared bankruptcy to restructure it into another company. Like, what do you mean by bankruptcy? Oh, well, I heard that they declared bankruptcy to restructure. Okay, so what do you mean by bankruptcy then? Because the company's been around for 16 years ever since. Like, so why is that a big deal for you? Like, once you lead people into understanding their own thought process, because if you portrayed it to them like that, they might even be like, yeah, I never really thought about it that way. That happens a lot too. When you repeat back to people what they say, like, is this what you mean? A lot of times they'll take a step back and say, you know what, that does actually sound kind of silly when I hear it, you know, because sometimes things sound better in our heads than they actually do.
True.
And then you can say, have you considered this? So how did you come, or what did you mean by that? How did you come to this conclusion? And have you considered this? I learned that from a Christian apologist for how he debates atheists or people that have questions about Christianity or scripture, or, you know, oh, God is this and there's no God, or what do you mean by that? How'd you come to that conclusion? Have you considered this?
That's good.
It works very well in sales as well.
Okay.
So, having said that, going back to that question, I want to minimize the people that I have to convince.
Okay.
Because it's a drain on your energy, it's a drain on your time. People that here's the thing about our industry: if you have to convince someone to do something, they're going to quit, and then they're going to blame you for when they're not successful. They're the people like, well, I'll give it a try, or I'll try it out. They're the ones that need the most hand-holding. They're the ones that need, you know, the most training, and then they don't do anything with it, and then they quit and say, well, it was a scam, or it just didn't work. It didn't work for me. Now, having said that, I believe in planting seeds. I'll never take someone off their journey, but I'm only going to give them my time where it's appropriate. Like, I'm not going to sit and babysit anyone or handhold. Like, you reached out and said, I want to get trained. I want to do this. Like, I have no problem spending time with you, helping you, training, and sewing into you. But I have people where I've said, hey, you can send people to me. I have training available. I have all this stuff available. They don't do anything with it. I don't reach out to them.
Okay.
So never feel like you're bothering me. Never feel like you're taking time away. Like, I will always reach out when I can. Like, if I'm with my son, we're doing something fun, I may not respond immediately, but I still, he's got to go to sleep at some point, right?
Right.
So there's always going to be, you know, I always will get back to you. So never feel bad. What happens is a lot of times people become what I call a wounded avoider, where they feel like they've let a mentor or coach down, and so they don't want to reach out until they have results. And that's one of the worst things you can do, because you're not going to get results until you reach out.
Okay.
And a lot of times it's like a battery. Like, you are probably going to come out of this meeting energized to the point where you're going to go and you're going to start taking a lot of action in your business and stuff, and even in your life. Like, it's not just business. When someone asks you a question, you probably feel good, right? Mentors and coaches don't have a lot of people asking them questions. People like to have people come to them asking them questions. So it's a symbiotic relationship. People like to have people ask them questions. They like to coach and mentor, and it helps the person asking, because now they can get their questions answered.
I never thought about it like that. That's true.
So having said that, if 30% of people know they need a solution, they're open to the solution, but they don't know you, now it's your job to educate them. And that's where the sitting down with them, saying, where are you at in life right now, and where do you want to be? Because based on their pain point, I can now educate them on the solution. And because they're open and they don't need to be convinced, I don't have to waste time explaining to them why getting their credit is...
It's just like basically identifying the problem and providing a solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something else. This is going to be information that is worth hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
So I am going to share my screen.
Okay.
I'm going to go over a few things with you.
Okay.
Now, this is being recorded. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to either send you the link directly or I'll just post it to YouTube and make it private so only you can see it. So if you
Can you
don't get
stop
in,
it right there and start another recording?
I already did
Oh, okay.
when I
Would
started
you
sharing my
mind?
screen the first time. So we've only been going for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
so really you'll have a big recording of us talking about the law of attraction and visualization and mindset. And then you'll have another recording that's like action steps of stuff to do.
Okay, cool.
But I'm going to show you step by step how your conversations with people should go. Okay.
Okay. And this is recorded. I'm not going to take notes. Okay.
Yeah. I would still recommend taking notes, but don't feel like you have to get everything if you don't.
Okay.
So this is something that we kind of touched on earlier, is when you write things down, it goes directly into your subconscious.
Sure. Okay.
So when you take notes while we're talking, I promise you, you're going to get it more. Successful people take notes.
Okay.
Now, some people will, yeah, I'll just catch the recording and do notes that way. Nothing wrong with that. But then you're taking notes twice. So writing it, and there's also a spiritual reason for that too. Like when you make the effort to do something, like you have to, a farmer still has to plant the seed.
Right.
This is you planting the seed.
Okay. Makes sense.
So Jermaine basically created something called 9 to 5 Rehab Academy. Okay. This is something programming. He's got exiting the matrix, 12 steps to self transformation, the Freedom in 365 blueprint, selling made simple. He's got investing. He created this, and I kind of helped, not really, but I was up with him till 4 or 5 in the morning, helping him, giving him advice and stuff, creating this. But ultimately, this is the blueprint for everything. Okay. So someone says to me, I want this. I ask them, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you at in life right now? Where do you want to be? They tell me. Okay. Then I say, okay, based on what you've said, it sounds like this is what you want. Then you go through and explain to them, this is why you don't have what you want. Okay. Now, originally it was 5 steps and he expanded it to 9. So we're going to go through those one by one. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1 is copy what wealthy people do. And actually has a whole video on that. I don't know how much this costs, but I think he's charging a couple $100 for this. So if you just, everything in here, I think is $1,500 if you want access to everything. But I think he's going to be selling each of these modules individually. I'm not sure how much this one is, but I know it's going to be at least a couple hundred. And it goes through step by step. But copy what wealthy people do, and in due time, you will be wealthy. Wealthy people read books. Wealthy people write down goals. Wealthy people take notes. Wealthy people have a mentor and they ask them questions. Right now, you're doing the things that wealthy people do. Okay. Most people do what broke people do, and then they end up broke. And that's just the fact of the matter. There's a reason why, we'll use Donald Trump again. There's a reason why anyone that has the Trump name will never be poor. Because they and their family, they teach their family the secrets of success.
Right.
Right. There's wealthy families that you model what they do, you will have the same results. So number 2 is you need to be the person providing the deal, not the person looking for the deal. So in this example, he has a lot of people on Black Friday going into Best Buy and Walmart. Who's providing the deal on Black Friday, Best Buy or the person standing in line?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Who's providing the deal on Black Friday, Best Buy or the people standing in line to get in to buy something?
Best Buy. Well, I don't know.
Exactly. Best Buy is providing something.
Yeah, they're providing us. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Right. So you need to be providing something of value to people, which for right now, it's just my econ. meaning you're
Okay.
in a business, you're offering something of value. Most people are always looking for a good deal. Ooh, I want to get a good deal on this. Instead of being the one
Yeah.
that says, what can I offer to others and have them pay me for it? Okay. Number 3, let your money work for you. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do that. But we talked a little bit earlier about having assets and having liabilities. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Assets put money in your pocket. So my econ is an asset. But basically, wealthy people either invest their time for money or actually, let me look. I'm going to show you something real quick. Hopefully this will be big enough. And small. I'm going to show you the cash flow quadrants. Okay. So what are you seeing right now on my screen?
It's loading. It's a video.
Okay.
It's the EDSI system.
Yes. Okay. Do share. Okay. So can you see this cash flow quadrant?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is one of the books I mentioned earlier. But he also wrote another great book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. So to make money, you're either an employee, you're a small business owner or self-employed, you are a business owner, or you're an investor. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Let me see if I can find a... here we go. This looks pretty good. You have E, the S, the B, and the I. 95% of people either are self-employed, meaning maybe they have a small business, or they're an employee. Only 5% of people either have a big business or they are an investor. Now some people say, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur because I own my own nail salon or an ice cream shop, or I own a small shop, or do whatever. The problem with that is basically you have a job that you've created.
Yeah.
Because if you own your own small business, you can't take a 6-month vacation because an employee will never take care of your business like you will.
True.
So what wealthy people do is they have systems that create leverage. It's better to get paid on the efforts of 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of your own efforts.
Agreed.
I would rather get paid 1% off of the efforts of 100 people than on my own. So, and that allows you to be free. So you can do that you can duplicate yourself through either a system, through other business owners, through employees. You know, the CEO of Microsoft can take a 6-month vacation because he's got employees to take care of the business for him when he's gone.
Right.
So that's the difference. Wealthy people, their money works for them. Now, Jermaine loves investing. You can invest your money. That way your money is you're duplicating yourself with your actual money. But in some way, shape, or form, you have to have your money work for you.
Okay.
Number 4 is you need a team. And are you seeing you're seeing this right now?
Yeah, the chart.
Yeah. So your work has a team, the military has a team, Nike has a team, Verizon has a team. Everyone has a team or is building a team except for you. You have to have a team. You have to know how to build a team.
Okay.
Which is part of rule number 3, having your money work for you, right? So number 5, you need a network. It's similar to having a team, but I'm connected with Jermaine, and through Jermaine, like I said, part of this training, we have someone that does no money down on real estate, right? So I have a network of people in different industries so that I don't have to be the expert. We had a guy that's not uploaded yet, but he has a Shopify course because he makes about $300 a day on Shopify. Like, I'm now connected to him and I can sell his course, or I can learn how to do Shopify myself, right? So you have to have a network of people that are in different things. Which brings us to number 6, which is multiple streams. I have multiple streams of income. And even if they're not a lot, small streams of income all add up to larger streams of income, right? That's why the rich get richer, because the rich say, "Hey, I've got this deal. Do you want to do it?" And they're like, "Yeah." Going back to your person that was asking about the bankruptcy, and this is just my personal experience. I can talk to someone about a business opportunity that makes $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year or more. They never mention questions about bankruptcy or pyramid scheme or scam or anything like that. You show a business opportunity to someone that makes $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, they think it's a scam, and they have tons of questions.
Wow, really?
Why is that? I mean, think about it, really. There's a reason why wealthy people are wealthy, and why the rich get richer, and why the poor stay where they're at.
That's good. That's
So when you're asking about how do I respond when people ask certain questions, if they're asking certain questions, I automatically know where they're at mentally.
okay. And then you just kind of like so then you don't really like try to spend time convincing them. So like, what would you say to kind of like end the conversation? I guess like I know you want to still plant seeds, but you kind of want to like end the. I don't know. What do you say?
Oh, excuse me. Depends on their question and how sincere they are. Some people just don't know, and they need to be trained, and they are asking questions because they really want to know. Like, so for instance, if someone came to me and said, "How is my econ not a pyramid?" Like, you can sense when someone is really asking a question and when someone is just being an ass, right? So if someone is really wanting to know, then I'll say, well, listen, a pyramid is defined by the Federal Trade Commission as something where there's no product or service. Here is how my econ or any other company is not a pyramid. Let me show you how wealthy people build businesses. Wealthy people build down, employees climb up. Right? If you look, and then I can even tell them, think about your job. You have a CEO, and then you have some upper management, and you have middle management, and you have employees, and then you have your blue collar workers. Doesn't that look like a pyramid?
That's what, yeah.
When someone tells me that they don't want to be in a pyramid, I say, well, if you have a job, you already work for a pyramid. Why not be in a quote unquote pyramid you own? Because the person down here, most people will say, well, the person at the top makes all the money. Okay. As an employee, you will never make as much as the CEO of the company, ever.
True.
Middle management will never make as much money as the president. Like I said, most people just, when you repeat back to people the things they say, a lot of times they don't really understand what they're saying until you repeat back to them.
Okay.
So, yeah, it really does depend on them and their attitude. It depends on on the conversation. If I have a single mom who's never ran a business, and she's like, well, how do I know this isn't one of those pyramid schemes, or how do I know I'm not going to get screwed? Like, I'm a gentle person. I don't like tear them apart, right? Jesus was very aggressive and firm with the Pharisees when they asked him stupid ass questions, right? But when people asked him legitimately questions, he was soft and gentle with them because they genuinely wanted to know the answer. You can do the same thing in business. When there's people that are just being an ass with their questions, right? And there's people that legitimately want to know. So
Okay.
it's the tone of their voice. It's, you know, the previous conversation and the types of questions they're asking. But if someone is just being an ass, then I don't even deal with them. I might just send them the information and then leave it up to them. Might send them a video, like, hey, here's a video. Let me know if you have questions. But I don't have a lot of people around like that around me though, because I will on my Facebook, you know, if I'm talking to someone, if they ask for info, and I reach out and I say, hey, thanks for commenting on my post. Tell me a little about yourself, where you're at in life now, where you want to be, and they leave me on scene, then that's grounds for me to unfriend them. That's disrespect to me. That's disrespectful to leave me on scene. Now it depends. Again, it depends on the context. If I've already had a conversation with someone, but yeah, you want people around you that are going to resonate with your message.
Okay.
Leaving someone on scene is pretty disrespectful, right? It means you're not important enough for me to respond.
True.
Let's be honest. That's what it means.
Yeah.
If they came back a day or two, and I don't do it immediately, but if it's like, you know, 5 days, a week, and I see you left me on scene when I asked you a question, I have no problem unfriending you. You can only have 5,000 Facebook friends. I'm not going to have my Facebook friends list full of people that are going to waste my time.
True.
I'm mostly on Facebook for business. I'm not on Facebook.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You have a personal Facebook and a business Facebook, or is it just all one thing?
I use them kind of both. There are some people that I won't delete. People that are important to me, like my mom and sister and cousin and some cousins. I delete right now. Like if I were to go out and delete people right now, I would delete people, family members that I've never met or talked to. I have family members that have been Facebook friends since 2015. I've never had a conversation with. That's dead weight on my Facebook page. I mean, I'm just being honest. There was a guy that was my cousin. I don't know if we were second cousins. I don't know who he was, but we had some conversations. He said he wanted to join a couple of companies with me and just never did. And I'm just like, hey, you ready to get started? Left me on scene. That's an unfriend situation, and I move on, and I do not feel bad about it. Like, you only get 60 to 80 years on this planet. Why spend it with people that are going to waste your time? Remember, the bottom 60% of people are going to waste your time. You only have so much creative energy every single day. You have a finite amount of willpower. That's why if you're stressed out, you eat more junk, because you just don't have the willpower to not eat junk. If you're relaxed, it's easy to not eat garbage food and stay on point with your diet. But when you're stressed out and you're just like, I'm just going to eat whatever, you know? So you have a finite amount of willpower. That's why if successful people focus on the big tasks first. Most people, if you have a list of 10 things you need to get done, most people will focus on the 5 or 6 small things that don't matter, so that they're busy, but they're not pushing them forward just to say that they got something done. Instead of focusing on the 1 to 2 things that are going to take more time but get them closer. I think someone asked Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, you know, like he asked them to make a list of the top 10 things they needed to get done. He said, circle the top 2 and cross out the bottom 8. If you get the first 2 done for the day, then you can move on to the other stuff. Don't waste time doing the bottom 8. Spend your time and focus on the top 2, because you only have so much time and energy each day. And most people spend it being busy and not productive. And I'm guilty of that too. Anything that I'm telling you about, I can say because I'm guilty of it. So it's never Matt Moore doesn't preach. Matt Moore says, I've done it. Let me tell you how to not have that. result.
Good to know. And then number 7.
So I'm going to go back to sharing. So 7 is going to build yourself a routine, which is something we've talked about earlier today. Like you have to have a routine of things that you are going to do every day. So you can write out your goals for the day, write out your goals for the week, for the month, but have some structure. Make a list of these are the things I got to get done every day if I want to be successful. I got to make sure that, for me, my goal should be to talk to at least 10 to 20 people a day. Because if I'm having 10 to 20 conversations with people, some sales or something's going to come out of those, right?
Right.
So you have to have, because we're creatures of habit. Once you start getting in a routine, now you can use apps to do that. Jermaine uses something to do that. I think he uses Airtable, where he'll actually, Airtable, Airtable. It's a free app that allows you to actually, you can set like a schedule for yourself.
Okay.
So you can say, okay, from 10 to 11, I'm going to read. From 11 to 12, I'm going to follow up with all my prospects. From 12 to 1. So yeah, this is, if you can see this, let me go back. And again, I'm guilty of not doing this. I'm not a very detailed person when it comes to where Magic of Thinking Big is a fantastic book. I highly recommend that. But success doesn't happen by accident. Success happens because you do a certain amount of habits, a certain amount of actions taken over time.
Well, that's good. I like that.
And you don't just accidentally, oh, well, now I'm making $1,000. But I can also say if you set the intention that you want $1,000 to come to you, and you don't do any work, that's still different. Here we go. Just found it. That's still different than not taking any action, at all, like laying in bed all day expecting it to come to you. I feel like I just found it, but I think
notification. My phone is too hot. Can we pick up in like 30 minutes? I can let it cool down.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I had this happen before. Huh?
Stop sharing. Yeah, trust me, I totally understand how that works.
I never had that happen before. Does that happen often?
Oh, all the time. I have a cheap $120 smartphone, Android. So, I can't make videos while I drive in Phoenix during the summer because my it just gets too hot. My phone overheats and turns off.
I do these meetings on my laptop than on my phone.
Are you on your phone or laptop?
No, I'm on my phone. I didn't think about putting it on my laptop. So maybe next time I'll do it on my laptop.
So this is my cell phone. I've had it for 3 years. When I'm in my car and if I try to do a video, I shoot a video while I'm driving, it'll overheat my phone during the summer and it'll actually turn off.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yeah, phones can overheat, especially since you're sitting outside in the car in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't look hot, but I imagine it's probably pretty warm. Plus the sun's on your phone, I'd imagine.
Well, it's cloudy, but still that sucks.
Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, I haven't been outside today, so.
Okay, I don't want to stop, but okay, we'll definitely pick up when my phone cuts off.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.